Hey guys, Alan here from V Expressions. Today we're going to look at the QuickStart setup steps for the TD-30 for your expansion you downloaded from V Expressions. Grab your USB stick, let's head to the computer, look at your download, and get started. Alright, so I've created some example folders and zip files for today that we're going to go over. This will be for the TD-30. In this case, I think I'm doing the Essentials Rock as an example. If you don't have our expansion yet, please step over to VExpressions That's V Expressions Ltd. Check out what we have for your module, even if it's not the TD-30. We cover pretty much almost the entire line of Roland modules, as well as the Pearl Mimic, some Yamaha. Go check us out, see what we have for you over there. We're going to start with the download. If you are a V Expressions customer and you just downloaded something and you're looking for how this all works, that's what today's video is about. And let's go ahead and look at the zip file. On a PC, I can actually just double-click the zip file to open it and see everything in it, and actually work straight out of the zip file this way. On a Mac, you have to extract the contents, I believe, to a folder. Sorry, I'm not a Mac guy. I mean, I've used Mac over the years, but I don't use it regularly. You have to extract the contents, and I'll show you what that looks like on a PC, because PC can do it as well. You just simply right-click the zip file. You go to Extract All. It'll walk you through a couple steps. I'm actually not going to do it, but you just go to Extract, and what it'll do is create a new folder with all the stuff that's inside the zip file. You can do that if you want, if you like to have folders and stuff. I personally don't. I like to work straight out of the zip files. So let's look at our zip file and see what's in it. I always have a README file in the root folder of the zip file. It'll basically give you the most important information, like read the manual, or in this case, just drag that folder to your desktop. I'll go ahead and drag that folder to my desktop. So basically, I just extracted that folder to the desktop. Let's go ahead and see what's in that folder now. In this folder is basically a breakdown of your card if you've made a backup or you've formatted, which I'll stop right here and I'll tell you, before you do any of this, you should go to your module and make a backup. A lot of this will make more sense to you if you can see it on your end as well. So let's look at what that zip file provides you. You see two PDFs here. One is a QuickStart guide for the TD-30, which is basically a condensed version of the things you need to know about this expansion and the backing up and loading process. It also provides a README, which is the manual for, in this case, the Essentials Rock, that is a lot more detailed, and it goes over the, it'll go over the description of the product. It will give you some tips and tricks. It will give you the expansion kit names and their descriptions as well. And then you'll see a lot of the detailed steps for backing up, formatting, saving, loading, etc., etc., etc. These steps are actually just straight from the Roland manual themselves, but I've condensed them down, taken out all the extra stuff that you don't really need. I've given you basically the exact steps that you could read, step 1, step 2, and on and on and on, and actually just do that and you're done. So that's I like to help in that manner. And then there's some extra information there at the end that's pertinent to the TD-30. So let's look at the Roland folder. The Roland folder basically represents what your module creates when you make a backup or format the card, the USB stick. When you do that, you'll have a Roland folder on your stick. Actually, let me open my stick up here real quick. You'll see I have a Roland folder, a TD-30, and then I have a backup and an import. While I'm here, I'll go ahead and talk about the import before we get into the long stuff. The import folder is actually for your old TD-20 and TD-20X files. If you want to import the old kits from maybe a previous module, flagship module you had, you can do that. Not the 10, but you can do the 20 and the 20X because they use the same soundboard inside. So this is the folder where you'll put that stuff. And I'll show you in the module where to import. I probably won't have anything to import. I don't want to go find something to put it in there, but I'll show you how to do that anyway. The backup folder, I backed up a folder here, by the way. The backup folder, just to remind you, I'm in the Roland TD-30, and now I'm going to go into the backup folder. The backup folder are all the backups that you make of your module. And as you make a backup, you can choose the bank number you want to save it in. So you'll see here I have one, and then I have a whole bunch of others, 20 through something. And so now I'm going to get out of my card. I'm going to go back to the folder that I extracted from the download, and you'll see I have the exact same tree structure, which is Roland, TD-30, and backup. Now, I don't always provide a tree structure in the download. Sometimes I'll just give you the TDO files. I'm going to show you once more where the TDO files go, but I think you just got it. So let me talk about these TDO files. In this particular example here, let me open this back up. Zip, and sorry, oh, that's not what I wanted. Sorry, I wanted this one. In this QuickStart guide, you saw I had 2 TDO backups. In this QuickStart guide, it quickly tells you what those 2 are. The first one says this file contains customized pad settings that may or may not work for you. These are my pad settings from the TD-30. I provided it because sometimes it will help others if they have the exact same setup. If you've already tweaked your pads and everything and you have your kit backed up, I would suggest keeping your pad settings the way they are. I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. Backup 2, though, is just the default pad settings. So that's what those 2 files are. So back into our download, back into this. Okay, so this is representing the folder that we downloaded. Shows the 2 backups I just explained to you. You could actually just drag those to the desktop if you want. And then go to your card, your stick. Go to the proper folder, which is going to be the backup folder. And then you could just drag these in. Now, I'm not going to drag these in, and I'll show you why real quick. Let me put these side by side so you can see the differences. Okay, so you'll see I have a backup 1. Let's pretend that that's your personal backup, because that's most likely what it is for me. That's my personal backup. If I drag this TDO1 file that I downloaded in the expansion, or the V Expressions expansion, it's going to want to overwrite that. Most likely you will not want to do that. And as you can see, this one is named number 2. So I'm looking at my folders on my personal card here, and I see I do not have 2 through 19. So I can use this 2, which was the default pad settings, and then Alan's pad settings was the first file. So I may want to try those. So how are you going to rename these files so they don't overwrite? Well, in this case, I don't have a 3, so I'll just change this last digit to a 3. There you go. So now I have a 2 and a 3 that I can copy over here. Speaking of renaming, a lot of people like to rename their files, and I will tell you that you have certain criteria. You can only change the digits at the end. I would suggest just the last digit or 2. The deeper you go, if you want to change it to 99, the more you have to scroll when you load. Keep everything else the same. So this TD-30 underscore backup, that has to stay the same. And the .td0 has to stay the same. If you change any of those 2 things, your module will not recognize it. If you don't scroll when you're at the module, you won't see backup 2 and 3. You'll just see your personal backup. I get a lot of emails saying it doesn't work, and it's usually just because you didn't scroll. So now I am ready to go. I have backup 02 and backup 03 that I can drag into here. And now I've added them to my card and I'm ready to go. I'll just have to remember that they're 2 and 3. And when I get to the module, I can just scroll to 2 and 3. I also will remember that number 2 is plain backup or pad settings. And number 3 is Alan's pad settings. I'm going to go ahead and delete these because I don't really want them on my card. And let's head to the kit. I'll show you everything else. I think I've covered everything here. I told you what importing is. Yeah, I think we're done. We're done. Let's head to the kit. All right, guys, I'm at the TD-30 now. I have my USB stick in the module. I'm going to go over a few things with you. Backing up your module, very important to do that. Loading an expansion or a backup of your own. We will go through kit saving, one single kit. Kit loading, same thing. And then I will go into importing from the 20 and 20X. And then we will talk about some pad settings and so forth and so on. So let's go ahead and head to the module. So the first thing I want to do here is show you how to back up. We'll go to US memory. We'll go to save. And then we will choose a bank number. A lot of people forget the scrolling part in all of these processes. I think backing up really should give you that hint. But a lot of people making a single backup of their personal stuff, they never scroll, so they never get in the habit of it. So here I'm going to, for example, show you. I've already done this video once. I'm actually redoing it to make it a little bit shorter. I'm going to save my backup here to bank number 10. I'll hit save. You can actually name it by going here and giving it a name. I'll go ahead and use that. Hit save again. It takes you back to that same screen. You hit execute and it will do it. By the way, the cancel button was on the left there if you ever want to cancel. While I'm here, I'll go ahead and load, just to give you an example. By the way, to get out anything, you just hit kit. So I'll go back to US memory here. I'll go to load. It's going right back to where I was. Let's say, well, normally it would come up like this. Here's the key that a lot of people miss, and I get tons of emails saying it's not working. They forget to scroll. So I went to load. This is the default setup here. It would come to bank number 1. You may have a personal backup, or you may have nothing if you didn't do a backup, which happens a lot. And it'll say no data, and they'll just run to the computer and email me. Well, the problem is they just simply forgot to scroll. Go ahead and scroll. In this case, I'm going to use number 10 again. And there it is. If you did everything at the computer like I showed you, and the TDO or TD0 file is in the correct folder, and it's here, when you scroll, you'll find it. All you have to remember is the number of the file. That's it. So I'll hit load and execute. There's the cancel screen or cancel button I was talking about. I'll go ahead and execute. So basically what I just did was I made a backup and then I reloaded my backup. That's all I did. Kit to get back out of it. Now I'm going to show you how to save a single kit. We'll go to US memory. We're going to go to F5, which is A, B. And down here you'll see your options. Kit save, kit load, and so forth and so on. If you ever want to format your stick to begin with before any of this, right there's your format button. The format button will create all those folders I showed you on the computer. So in this case, I'm going to go to kit save. And I will arrow up to my user kit. The user kit is the kit in your module. The USB is where you're sticking it. In this case, you can see I've already done this. I'm going to take user kit number 1. I'm going to save it to my stick in slot number 10. Go ahead and save. I can cancel here, but I'll go ahead and click execute. And that is that. So far we've backed up, we've loaded, and we've saved one single kit. I'm going to go in one more time and load a single kit. USB memory, go to A and B again, find the kit load. I'm going to select the kit. Again, we're using number 10 for our example here, just to show you. I'm trying to get people in the habit of seeing the scrolling. Again, you'll choose where you want to put it. Let's say you want to put it down in your user kits, number 75 or so forth, or even at the end, number 99. I just want to put it back in the same spot, which is slot number 1, user kit number 1. You'll notice here the screen is backwards this time. We're coming from USB to our user kit. And I know some of this is very elementary, but I'm pointing it out because I really get some very basic questions and emails that if people would just read the screen, they'd get it. But let's go ahead. So I'm going to load that kit here. I'm just replacing it basically, execute, and bang, it's done. So that's how you save a kit. Now we've backed up, we've loaded, we've saved a single kit, we've loaded a single kit. Now let's go into importing. I don't have a TD-20 or TD-20X file on here, which TD-20X is a TDW file, by the way. And if I did, we'd see it. But this is also where people ask me a lot of things, because our TD-20 expansions and our TD-20X expansions will work on your 30. But when sometimes they'll put the older file type in the backup folder, which will not work. They don't put it in the import folder. Sometimes they'll put it in the proper folder, but they'll use the loading process and say they can't find it. That's a key part of this video right here. And finally, they'll put the right file in the right folder, but they forget to scroll. That's why I keep emphasizing the scrolling part. So for importing, we go to US memory. We're going to go to import right here on the first page. And then we would choose the file type. You need to know the file type. You need to know if it's a TD-20 file or a TD-20X, which is a TDW file. Let's, for this example, I'm going to do one of these, so I'll just do the TD-20X. It'll immediately come to bank 1. Again, always remember, our expansions are not necessarily numbered at the beginning, 1 or 2 or 3. Most of the time, we start around 5, 6, 10, and up. Chris likes to do some at 99. I don't like to make people scroll as much. But so you want to scroll. So again, I'm importing. Hopefully I put the correct file, an older TD-20 or TD-20X file, in the import folder on my card, and I can scroll through and find it. Like I said, I don't have one, so you're not going to see one right now. The important part is the scrolling. And then I would click import, and it would bring in that older file. Now, once you have a 20 or 20X file imported, you want to save it in the 30 file type so that you can just get in the habit of loading from that point forward. Now, pad settings. We always default our pad settings to Roland defaults for the kit that is represented. So in this case, the 30. If I was talking in a video about a 20, it would be the 20 setup. And 20X would basically be the 20 setup as well. The TD-30 is going to have, in our expansions, the base default TD-30 pads, with the exception of I do add the auxiliary 3 and 4, actually 1 through 4, and give those certain file types. All you have to worry about is making sure your pad type is selected in the setup section. So once you once you load our expansion, just change the pads back to your setup. Now, if you have tweaked your pads, I would highly recommend the following option, which is pick up this little application called VDrumLib, and I'll put the link in the description. It's a godsend, to be honest. It will save you tons of time. You won't have to go through the save a kit. You won't have to go through the load a kit. You can use VDL to do everything through drag and drop on the computer. The most important part, I think, is that you can pull your pad setup data from your personal backup and just drop it into one of our expansions, save it out, put it on your card, load it right in, and you're done. You don't have to do the pad tweaking. You don't have to change your pad setup. I would actually say start with that. And as a matter of fact, thinking of that now, I'm going to make a tutorial in just a few minutes. I'll link it in the description of this video and show you how easy VDrumLib is to use with the 20X and 30. Believe me, it's worth the $20. Your first month is free anyway. Once you've used it, you'll gladly send VDL some money for that application. It's wonderful. I believe he has lifetime updates. Don't quote me on that, but I believe he offers lifetime updates. Now, with the 50 coming out, if it gets updated with the 50 in mind, he may make a new version. Not sure about that. Anyway, I think we're done here. I hope I've covered everything that we needed to cover. If you have any questions, put them in the comments down below. I'll do my best to answer them. Drop me an email if you want to. You can reach me through the website. That's V Expressions Ltd .com. We're done here. Done. Hey, so thanks for stopping by and watching the video. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you liked it enough to give us a thumbs up. While you're down there, please click subscribe. Click the little bell to get notifications of our upcoming videos. And as always, please go over and visit VExpressionslTD.com. That's V Expressions Ltd. Check out what else we have for your module. Hope to see you again soon. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.